You are probably making Milky Way photography so much harder than it needs to be. There's so many guides, videos, tutorials, everything on the internet that cover so many different techniques. If you like the way that I shoot my Milky Way images, I'll leave you a couple examples here. I'm gonna show you everything you need to know in this video in order to capture those images in the field. And then I've got some other post-processing videos on YouTube. And my name is Austin James Jackson. Super excited that you're here. Today I'm out in Arizona at this really otherworldly landscape. We are shooting this tree right now on this tripod, and we're gonna walk you through it. You can see it just recently got dark, so we're kind of getting ready out here, starting the video right now so we can talk through some things that we're gonna do preliminary before the Milky Way comes out, and then go from there. Now, I am going to talk about a few concepts where I will just link a video because I don't want to assume that you know everything, and I don't want to assume that you know nothing. So there's a few concepts that I will just link videos to. So if you don't know when I'm talking about them, make sure that you check the video that is linked, because that will help you in order to gain more knowledge on that step. Also, a lot of times they're a lot more drawn out, whereas this video is just kind of going to be everything as fast as possible, show you as much as you need to know to capture the Milky Way in a fast-paced video. Now, that being said, let's make this thing fast-paced. I don't want to waste any more time. First things first, get out to your location early if you can, especially if you're new to shooting night photography. It is pretty much suicide to go out there in the complete darkness, not knowing how to do anything night photography-wise and think you're going to get great images. Get out here early. It's nice to just get out there at sunset, just hang out, wait an hour and a half until it gets dark, and then be ready to shoot the Milky Way. Now, you need to know which direction the Milky Way is going to be. It spans anywhere from the east all the way to the west, depending on the time of year. I use PhotoPills to check that out. I just recently released a short video covering PhotoPills and how you can use that. We'll link that here, so check that out if you need to figure out where the Milky Way is going to be. But we're going to start right now, assuming you already know where the Milky Way is going to be. And for me, I know it's going to be behind this tree right here in a couple hours. So I'm out here nice and early. One of my favorite techniques is called a blue hour blend, and I'm going to show you how to do that here. The benefit of the blue hour blend is it allows you to get a much higher quality foreground that's not so noisy, because we need to capture that Milky Way at really high ISOs. So that blue hour blend is going to allow us to get a much better foreground image that we can then blend later with the Milky Way image. Now, it's best to do this just on a static tripod like this, but if you are using something like a star tracker, which is even better, that's really what I would recommend doing. We'll link a video here talking about some star trackers. You can also use the blue hour blend for that as well, but you certainly don't have to be using a tracker. This can be just for single static shots, which is mostly what this video is going to be focused on. So to take that blue hour blend, and again, this is totally optional, but I'll show you the difference before and after of kind of what that blue hour blend does for you to give you more details. If you want to do that, I'll show you how to do it. It's not too terribly difficult. So I'm out here in the field. Let me change this camera so that we're looking at my camera rather than my face, so I can show you exactly how I'm going to expose this image. Okay, so I've already got the image or the composition that I want, so I just need to adjust my settings. Now, for this blue hour blend, I usually like to do something around f4. I'll open up my shutter speed to maybe, 15 seconds or just however dark it is. It'll just kind of depend. And then if I need to increase the ISO, I will. Usually I like to go ISO 400. I want there to be just a touch of grain, but I don't need too much grain. Let's go about 8 seconds f4 ISO 400. Now, depending on when you take this blue hour image, you will need to play with those settings and make them differently. So don't just copy and paste those settings. Once you take this image, you're going to see that it'll pop up. You just want to make sure nothing is blown out, and you want to make sure everything is plenty bright. We can, of course, darken it in post. Something like that is pretty much perfect for me. Not too bright, not too dark. So we can take that image into post, and we will blend that with our Milky Way. If you need to do a focus stack, you can do that at this point as well. Just flip over to manual focus, which you will want to do anyways. But once you're done with your blue hour, I always like to just set my settings up for exactly how I'm going to be shooting the Milky Way. If you're using a lens that's like wider than 18 millimeters, which you definitely should be, you want to go to something like f2.8 and go to like, say, 20 seconds, and then probably ISO 6400. So I like to set my settings up just like that. I will also switch over to manual focus here, and then we're going to manual focus this lens once it's dark. We will come back out once it's dark. We got to wait at this point before we manual focus, and I'll show you how to manually focus on the stars so you can ensure tack a sharp focus. So that being said, we're going to stop the video here, and then we're going to pick right back up when it gets totally dark out. We'll be back in about an hour. Okay, so now you can probably see it is pitch dark, and when you look through your camera screen, you probably can't see a whole lot. So obviously make sure the lens cap is off, first of all. I made that mistake so many times. Then make sure your settings are set correctly. Again, we want to make sure that aperture is wide open so we can see as much as possible on the screen. This is a mirrorless camera. If you have a DSLR camera, make sure you put it in live view. Then you're going to go up to the manual focus ring, which I have my left hand on. You probably can't see it here. And you're going to start to turn it. Now you'll see when I do that, you now get the manual focus bar on the bottom, and then it'll show you on the top on the left there where you are about in the image. So you need to scroll around. Now I know how I have this framed. The sky is at the top, so I need to scroll this up. And you should see some sort of stars. Now if you're not seeing anything, your focus might be way off. Like you can see, I can't even see the stars right now. So just dial the focus ring until it's close to infinity. Not all the way, but just somewhere close. Then scroll around. You're going to find a nice bright star like that. I'm going to click the center button one more time to zoom in. Now I can see that star nice and big. Now I will adjust this back and forth. I'm just adjusting the manual focus until that star is as small as possible, which indicates that it is tack sharp, just like that. Now I should be off to the races to go ahead and start firing away some shots. Now, especially for people that are newer, I always like to check that first shot to make sure it is good. So hit your image review button, then your image should pop up here. This is the photo that I just took. Then there should be a little plus button. You'll want to probably find that in the light so you know where it is. You can hit that plus, it'll zoom you straight in, and then you can zoom into the stars. So when I zoom around here, I just want to make sure my stars are tack sharp, which they are. If you're seeing too much trailing, you just need to make your shutter speed a little bit faster. So if I wasn't happy with that amount of trailing that I'm getting there, I would want to increase my shutter speed to maybe 15 seconds. But do keep in mind, the faster the shutter speed, the noisier the images are going to be. All right, so then you're just going to wait for the Milky Way to come into position. It's now a couple hours since I've started this video. Milky Way is finally getting into position where I want it in my scene, liking the way that it looks. Now, of course, you can always call an audible, move your stuff around if you're finding it looks better elsewhere, but you don't have that blue hour image. Of course, you can blend the blue hour image that you took with the Milky Way that you took in a different spot, but it is a little bit more difficult, but it is definitely still feasible if you are willing to put in the extra work in Photoshop. Otherwise, go ahead and fire off your images. Now, you don't just want to take one image. It's another kind of beginner mistake, is to just take one image. You could, like I said before, you can either do it star tracked, in which case you can do one star tracked image, one blue hour image like you took, or if you're going to do it the other way, you're actually going to take like 10 of the exact same image on a static tripod with the settings that we mentioned earlier, that like 20-second shutter speed, f2.8, ISO 6400. So you're going to take like 8 to 12 shots. I usually shoot for 10, exactly the same. You're just going to keep pushing the shutter over and over again. Make sure that 2-second timer is on that tripod so there's no camera shake when you move it around, but take those 10 shots. If you have an intervalometer, great. If your camera has a built-in intervalometer, great. You can just program it to take 10 shots and fire it back to back to back. It's obviously going to take a few minutes to do that. Now you want those 10 shots because what you're going to do is stack the images together. For PC, the program is called Sequator. For Mac, the program is called Starry Landscape Stacker. I've got a video on Starry Landscape Stacker, which I'll link here. I'm not going to show you in this video how to do it, but I do have a short video that does show you how to do it there. The reason you do that is it stacks the images together, and it's going to remove the noise as much as possible. One thing that you do want to keep in mind, in addition to what's called light frames, which are the frames that we're shooting right now, just the ones with the regular Milky Way, you also want to capture some dark frames, which is where you're going to put the lens cap over the lens and shoot the photos at the exact same settings at the basically the same time. The reason is because different temperatures can cause more or less noise on the sensor. So you want to make sure that the temperature is consistent with when you shot your light frames. So you do it right now. So for example, I just shot my Milky Way photos, and then I immediately put my lens cap on and I took 3 dark frames, which is, like I said, just lens cap on, completely black photos. Now, when you stack these together, the software will look at it, and it'll look at that dark frame and determine that any noise that's on the dark frame that matches the light frame should be removed. So it's going to just help you get a little bit better results. A lot of people don't take these dark frames, but it's like literally a more clean image for free. All you need is that extra dark frame. There's no reason not to take it. So make sure that you do that. And hopefully that makes sense. There's obviously a lot of advanced techniques and obviously quite a bit of post-processing that's going to help you to get the image look that you want. But this will help you to get those workable images on the computer. There's so many times I help students where they show me a Milky Way image that they want to improve, and it's just been shot so poorly in the field, there's not that much that we can do. But if you follow this video exactly, and you've got a camera that does well at high ISOs and low light, you should have some really great raw images now, which you can work on editing. I'll link a few editing videos for my Milky Way photos down below. I've got a full Milky Way editing course workflow, which is perfect to watch right after this, because it's going to show you exactly how I use my simple 4-step workflow to edit my Milky Way photos to perfection. Lightroom or Photoshop, whichever software you use, you can do it in either one. I do think Photoshop is a little bit better, but we'll get into that in that course. So again, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you have questions about the in-field portion of capturing the Milky Way, please feel free to let me know. Really happy to help you guys out. And of course, I always appreciate you guys checking out this video. Make sure to save this, send it to a friend that you think could use this or that you want to shoot the Milky Way with, and save it for yourself, of course, because you might want to watch this again when you're out in the field. Leave me a like and a subscribe, helping to continue to grow my channel. Otherwise, I think that's all for tonight. Thank you guys so much. My name is Austin James Jackson. I'm headed to bed. See you guys next time.